It is absolutely crazy how much slower you have to go in life when you're waiting for other people to validate your choices and decisions. Like you're actually stuck worrying about what other people will think about what it is that you are deciding to do or potentially deciding to do. And, you know, when I look at my life, I realize that so many times throughout my entire life, I've just been stagnant because I have been thinking about what this person or what that person will think about my decision, when in reality, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Nobody gets to have anything to say about what it is that you're doing in life, right? And this is not just for my journey of healing. Healing in and of itself specifically is such a unique journey for any individual. And that really needs to be understood because I've actually had people already try to pull me out of my journey of healing, suggesting that what I'm going through is selfish, um, or what I'm doing is selfish, or that I can't do that. It's so interesting. It's when you have given yourself to people in a very certain way, they get used to that. And when you try to give yourself any other way, specifically with boundaries, and the people are used to boundarylessness, they're not going to want that. So, what I've come to learn is that you really can't outsource your choices and decisions in life. And the reason why it's so hard for people to not outsource their choices and decisions in life is actually very deeply rooted. For many people, and I've been there before, it has to do with not trusting yourself. You actually have to outsource your decisions and choices, or you feel like you do, because at some part of your life, um, you learned that you couldn't trust yourself. So of course you've got to get external validation on behalf of that stuff, or else it's not going to make sense, right? So you need, or you feel that you need that sense of security based on what it is that you've been conditioned by. But where I'm at in my life right now is very interesting because what I'm doing specifically is whenever my mind tries to like drift away to, oh, well, what will this person think about it? What will that person think about it? I might upset them. Ooh, right? And what I'm doing now is stopping myself consciously and just being like, what does Chris want? What does Chris want? And that's all. That's all there is to it. It's not rocket science. It never has been and never will be rocket science. Um, you don't need to be paralyzed by your inability to make a decision. What you do need to do is bring all of your awareness back to yourself and ask yourself what you want, right? But it's also beneficial to look back at different experiences you've had in life, different decisions you've made, and really reflect on if there's anything similar that you're doing in your present day, and ask yourself if it's really the best decision to make. It doesn't matter if it's easy. It doesn't matter if it's hard. What matters is if it's the right decision to make. Right? If what you can do is look back on your life and be like, oh, back then I made a similar decision and the result was a fucking shitstorm. Holy crap, let's not do that again. Right? Um, if you look back on another point in your life and you look and you're like, oh wow, yeah, I did do that. That was why did I oh, comfort, familiarity? Ooh. That put me into some serious debt emotionally. Like you just look back and you recognize if you take the time, which is why I've been doing this so much recently, if you take the time to just sit with decisions that you've made, choices that you've made, and just like do the best you can to really pull away at the layers and stuff and all the noise and stuff, and just sit with it and be like, why did I make these decisions? Oh, I was going through X, Y, and Z at that point. That messed me up. And just be vulnerable with yourself. Be honest. That's all that the self wants. The self wants to grow. The self wants evolution. It wants personal evolution. And when you can do that, when you can sit with all this stuff and just allow it to be there, just accept it for what it is, recognize that you're a human being, you made mistakes and this, that, and the other. The biggest thing, though, for me at this point in my life is just bringing all of my energy and awareness back to myself and genuinely not caring about what other people think about my decisions. It's mind-blowing to me that we have such a capacity to care so much about what other people might think about what it is that we're doing. As if they're perfect, as if their life is just a tropical breeze. No. their life is a disaster too. Like, nobody here has it. And that needs to be very understood. Nobody here has it. Everyone wakes up to some type of, I don't know, anything. But this belief that some people might have, that some people have it better than they do, or... I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that some people don't have it better than other people do. I'm not here to validate. I'm not here to invalidate. I'm not here to suggest that anyone's better off or worse off. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this. Not caring about what other people think is absolutely imperative to life. Because everybody else has problems too. Nobody has it perfect. Nobody looks at life and it's just like, yep, I've got no problems at all. No. Nobody has no problems. Nobody. Not one single person. At all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe like monks that are meditating 24 hours a day in the mountains and they don't give a shit about anything because they checked out a long time ago because they realized that it's pretty ridiculous. But no, like, everyone has like the person that you're worrying about, caring about, like what they'll think about the decision that you make. Guess what? They don't care. Or if they're saying they do, it's not true. People like to make noise. People like to, they like to, it's just, it's funny. It's funny to me. I don't get caught up in all that stuff. But here I am at the same time, also, like, recognizing, well, Chris, what do you want to do? Well, what I'm thinking about doing is this. Oh, but what will that person think about it? Maybe you've already pissed them off, and I don't, like, if you're going to avoid pissing people off in life, you're going to have an even harder life than, don't try to avoid pissing people off in life. You're not doing anything wrong just because you're pissing someone off. Just because you're pissing someone off does not mean that you're doing anything wrong. That needs to be very understood. And if you have a hard time going throughout life pissing people off, you're just going to have a hard time with life. People's emotions are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to do the best that you can for yourself, and that's it. And if what you feel is the best you can do for yourself, but somebody else disagrees with it, that's their shit. Whether or not it's true is irrelevant here. What matters is that you have the capacity to make a decision for yourself, free of the shackles of whatever anybody else has to say about it or think about it. And that's just the way that this stuff works.